Okay, you're good to go.
Yeah, you just gain more leverage as you have more money, right? Maybe you can pay for coaching. Maybe you can pay for a mentor. You can maybe buy some lower margin stuff, right? But all the while still making the same progress. It's harder to start with 1,000 as opposed to 10, right? Maybe with that $1,000, you have to hit up some RA stores, maybe Marshalls, TJ Maxx, the outlets. You just have to be more strategic with how you spend those dollars. Have a good few thousand saved, what would you do? Yeah, kind of like we were just talking through before. You have to be very strategic, right? You have to be very, very strategic. So outlets, RA, put in the legwork with FBM. Look for high velocity, high volume products and expedite your capital cycle as much as possible, right? So as opposed to having your stuff sit in FC transfer for 2 or 3 weeks, FBM, so you can get that money back in 3-4 weeks and continue to compound that 3 into 4, 4 into 6, 6 into 10, so on and so forth. Is everyone continuing FBM or starting FBI? Right. So it depends on your products, right? You'll start to see kind of a paradigm shift from FBM into FBA at some point, right? Whenever your sales start to slow down a bit, that may be an indication that you should start sending stuff in FBA. But also look in the buy box rotation, right? Likely is the case that over the past couple of months, you've seen some of the majority of those sales go into more FBM sellers. However, over the next couple of weeks, you'll probably start to see in correspondence with your sales starting to slow down, some more FBA sellers start to get some of those buy boxes.
Yeah, so like FBM's definitely worse than it was 2 weeks ago, but it's still significantly better than it'll be a month from now.
Is $1,000 enough to start? Yeah, I mean, you got what you got, right? So we're not going to necessarily hold off just because you have fewer dollars. You just have to be, again, more strategic, right? So you have to be very, very willing to put in the legwork to really compound that 1,000 into 1,500, 1,500 into 3, and be very patient, right? Because you understand that you don't have the leverage of a lot of money to maybe use a prep center, to maybe buy into some of the slower, lesser profitable items.
D-Body Ben's on fire. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How do I change an image's listing for a certain color? So yeah, you go into like edit the listing, basically. I've never really done it, but I know that's where you go. I found a product that has very little to no sellers, and it has a solid BSR. It says it's selling 50 units a month, but on the offers tab, it only shows 2 or 3 pieces. Yeah, so never look at the offers tab. It's very inaccurate. Look at the movement of the competition and what's happening in the price to gauge velocity.
Oh, Miles got a good answer for this. For a starter, what way would you explain Amazon FBA to understand it?
Okay. Yeah. So basically, over 60% of products sold on Amazon come from third-party sellers. FBA is how you fulfill that by shipping products to the Amazon warehouse, where they then handle the rest. They pick back and ship it, etc. So basically, you find an item for $10 on Walmart that sells for 30 on Amazon, and SellerAmp and Keepa data show you that it's sold for 30 consistently or sold for 25 or more consistently, right? You order 10 of those to yourself, right? And then you mail them in bulk to Amazon. After you list them on Amazon, you put a little label on them, right? You send them off to the Amazon warehouse. Then they are then fulfilled via Amazon Prime to the customers.
Hey, started off slow, but we picked it up at the home stretch.
How to jig your address for order cancels? Yeah, bro. So you got to figure out which piece of information is triggering the cancel. So it's like, is it the email? Is it the name? Is it the phone number, right? Is it the credit card? Is it the payment type? Is it the address, right? The way I like to jig the address is definitely going to be changing like street to ST and then also to STR. You can put apartment numbers potentially too and such. Bro, you got can FBA be full-time? Top G motivation. You come to way too many of these streams to be asking out of.
Whatever you make of it. It's whatever you make of it. I mean, we know people doing $1 million a month. We know people doing 10,000 a month, right? The ceiling is whatever you make of it.
True. Canada, if we are Canadian having LLC in the US, probably, but I have no idea. That's accounted. But I with how tyrannical Canada is, that's almost guaranteed. I have no idea though.
What prep centers would you recommend for a startup business? So something that has a low minimum order quantity, right? A low MOQ, right? So you're not going to be looking at prep centers with 1,000 order minimum, you may be looking for 200 or 250. They're out there. They're probably harder to find. They're probably a little bit more expensive, but if you call enough, you'll get one.
Do OA, do all the auto ungates too, Jordan. But yeah, mainly do OA for that. But if you have RA, go like do RA for the stuff you're ungated in. Like if you probably have outlets nearby, so do the big ungates for those big brands that require invoices, right? And then go in and do some RA.
About to hit Tanger outlets, probably try Under Armour this time. Which see, that's how I knew. That's why I thought Street Mat was in Pennsylvania, because we have Tanger outlets in Lancaster.
Well, I think he's in Cali, but I can't.
Yeah,
remember.
Something like that. Yeah, I forgot it was a chain.
Match a specific seller's price. I think you can, Johnny. I'm not sure how. How many warehouse should you expect your Amazon to split your ship?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it depends on the product, dude. And honestly, that's not really important at all in terms of forecasting.
And we have no control over it, so there's no sense in trying to map to that regard.
Should I give it a try? Is it worth it, or no, or do both? So you're watching our stream, so clearly you care about it, and we would not dedicate our lives and years of this to this and build products around it, make friends in it if it was not worth it. But if you're talking about giving it a try, is it worth it, or should I not try? You're never going to make any money, I promise you, doing anything. Like that's just the reality of it. Like you have to get that done tonight. Okay. You also didn't make it focus at all. That was bozo activity. Close. All right. Well, I'm going to edit your name to Twitter at all out Amazon. So. I want to at least finish. Is it possible to start part-time? Yeah, Brandon. So everyone starts part-time. And if you got the time to have a picture at a party like that, I promise you got the time to chase your dreams. That I promise you.
Those some lightsabers. What's going on?
I mean, that's a vibe, obviously, but yeah. Tapping in the prep background noise. Yes, sir. I'm in UK. How should I start? If you give me clarity on it, Amazon asked me invoice for arbitrage. Yes, you send them a picture of the receipt and the product. We got there tonight. Yes, sir.
Tapping in for some prep background noise. That's what's up. Big Booty Mix, some Buy Box Bandits, some Clear the Shelf YouTube, some Wholesale Made Easy. There's tons and tons of good content. We're just one tiny blimp in the community.
Yep. Cool. So yeah, guys, any questions you guys got, please let us know. Good to be back in the vibe in the new year. People are finally working again. It feels like forever.
Yeah. Happy New Year, everyone. For everyone that's just joining us, Happy New Year. Hope everyone had a safe, healthy New Year. What's the best category to start with? A limited capital, like 1,000. So I would do clothing, shoes, apparel. Reason being, there's tons of availability. You can go to Nike Outlet. You can go to Marshalls, TJ Maxx, Burlington Coat Factory. All of those stores, you probably have 4, 5, 6 near you within an hour. And you can buy a lot of high velocity stuff, high profitable stuff that'll sell FBM. And you can continue to take that 1,000 turn to 1,500, 1,500 to 2,000, 2,000 to 4, so on and so forth. Right? There's just a lot of variable, a lot of volume, as well as variations, which are going to compound your business. Meaning, you find the size 10, that leads you to 11, 12, 13, all the similar profitability. Right? Then you find the red as opposed to the white. You find the black. Right? So variation specifically within clothing and apparel is going to compound your business pretty explosively. And that's going to be how you're really going to grow early.
Is your private Discord server available without purchasing the roadmap? No. So keep a variations tab shows monthly sales is the most accurate way to see sales per variation, or should I rely on reviews? You should rely on neither. You should rely on the individual keep a chart.
Yeah, if once you get some experience, once you've looked at enough Keepa graphs, you can just tell pretty quickly if something's moving or not, right? The Keepa graphs that are the buy box lines that are very like flat and boxy, those naturally don't move as fast as something that oscillates pretty heavy pretty quickly, right? Because people are coming in and out of stock. People are changing prices where pricers are competing against each other. There's a lot of things that are happening as opposed to a Nike product that's very flat, right? Because it's not mapped, because there's more sellers than probably just one or two. We know that if something's flat, it's likely simply not moving, right? People are always creating and trying to create a competitive advantage, right? Amazon rewards the lowest FBA price. And so what does that naturally lead to? It leads to that price fluctuating. And so that's kind of a big signifier in terms of something that just moves or not.
Okay, here we go. Here's a good question. Should we start with FBA or FBM as a new star with a fresh account? So the cool thing is you can do both, right? And that it costs you $0 and actually makes you a lot more money when everything you're going to FBA, you just list to FBM for 3 days and see what happens, right? So that's what I'll get in the habit to do. How long do you spend sourcing? Dude, honestly, not a lot of time. Like Garrett and I, we sourced together a ton back in the day. And even that, honestly, that didn't even take a lot of time. Like we say it was a lot of time, but like it was more so that like everyone was so committed. A lot of the real work getting done was over text, right? It was XYZ things back in stock, right? Or did you guys check XYZ thing? You know what I mean? And such. So yeah, not a lot, honestly. But Bird, man, I know you were looking for help a year ago, man. How are you still spending a bunch of time sourcing?
I mean, but also the fact of the matter is, like, good products hang out pretty closely to each other.
Oh, so close. Yeah.
So once you find and similar to what I was kind of getting into before, right? Once you find a couple brands that you like and are comfortable with, and you know where to buy, which is huge, that is kind of like the jumping off point, right? Because you dig deeper into those brands. You use Keeper Product Finder to really dissect those brands. You know how to acquire them efficiently and easy without cancels. And so all those things lead to really a compounding of your effort and time. And again, once you have some friends in the business, then you start to bounce things off each other. You find one product, someone else finds one, now you have two, right? Now someone else finds a third, now you have three. And those three, right, because each of those products leads to competitive sellers, leads to sites, leads to other brands, all of those are going to continue to spider web out. And that's really how it's going to grow.
Should I rely on one sourcing method or both? Start with just one. Start with just reverse sourcing. If only FBM sellers are on an item, should I list higher than them being an FBA seller? Yeah, I would just sell that item FBM, honestly, man, or you could totally do both. But if you're going to send it in FBA, yeah, list it at the moon. To put my I have a single member LLC. Amazon says to put my personal name as a legal name. It's probably saying to put your LLC name. What are some good tips? Key performance indicators track with FBM. How much profit in items making? That's really the only one that matters, and how quick it's selling. Do either of you have videos digging into order cancellations and how to overcome them? So that's a good question, right? So it depends on the specific site, but basically what you want to do, Shane, and it's going to help if you're talking to other sellers, right? Because these problems get solved so much quicker in that type of environment. But you got to figure out what variable is causing the order cancels to happen. That's going to be the big thing. So is it the email? Is it the phone number? Is it the address, right? Is it the payment method, right? Is it the payment type, right? Is it true that there's a lot of returns in clothing apparel? How do you deal with it? So Christian, you just asked about starting with $1,000. Returns are the least thing you need to worry about, man. You should be hoping to get returns because it means you're selling products, right? So don't worry about it at all.
Good way to put it.
I wouldn't worry about that at all. And the slice is it part of it? Of course, it's part of the business, right? But we need you need to have more money as a human being and to be making consistent sales first before you want to worry about that stuff. Typically, Amazon respond for a deactivated account, so it should be pretty instant in terms of getting them to call you and figuring out why. And I'd be emailing the hell out of the support too. But it's in terms like replying like 2 or 3 days, but I would do my best to get on a call with them as quick as possible. And if it's asking you, like say it's a deactivated account email, right? And they're asking you to send in like email proof, I'd send them a bajillion emails. Like I'd be sending it like every 5 minutes. I'm trying to just do research now and keep putting my Amazon info in my head when I get out of school.
Doing research doesn't exist, my friend.
From school. Yeah, no such thing as doing research. Yeah, and you can't even, there's no such thing as trying to do anything either. You're either doing it or you're not. When I get out of school, I'm going to start because I'm not even home from school. That's the vibe though. Yeah, get after it. Any tips for Valentine product sourcing? Any categories to focus on? So I think it's a horrible idea to think of doing Valentine sourcing just because there's so much more stuff that's a lot more evergreen. Honestly, now if I were going to, right, what I would do is I would go and keep a product finder and put in a minimum of 10 sellers and hit the keywords in the text fields like Valentine's Day, candy, etc., and find reseller friendly candy products and then storefront stock from there. Category, ungate the brand Nike, do all the auto ungates that are in the description if you're watching on YouTube, and then source that stuff to start.
I don't understand why companies cancel orders. Can you explain why that happens? Typically, it's fraud detection, right? So they're thinking they're doing a good thing by canceling suspicious orders. So what is that? That's repetitive orders of the same amount. It's large orders when that customer or person or business doesn't have a history of placing those large orders. So you just have to assist them, right? So maybe call customer service if you get canceled and be like, hey, I'm legit. I'm trying to do this, this, and that. Can you help me get these orders through? A lot of times that works. If that doesn't, try PayPal, try Google Pay, try Apple Pay. PayPal works a bunch because it's authenticated dollars, right? PayPal is that intermediary because you have to make a PayPal account. They have to connect to the credit card, all those things.
Yeah.
And then the last piece is gift cards, right? Buy a gift card from that particular retailer because, again, that's authenticated dollars. The store knows that money exists. And so that's just one way to assist with that sort of fraud detection.
Where to start with wholesale? Go on Google and type in beauty distributor, beauty supplier, grocery supplier, and then your city name and cold call every result you see. And almost no one will do that, but the people that will win. Like I was on a coaching call yesterday with one of my guys. He's a young king, right? He was like, he was saying he was crushing the small brand. I was like, dude, like we look at this listing and there's some sellers that have a ton of reviews on listing. I was like, dude, you got to hit on to buy wholesale. One day later, he's already placed a PO with them. How many adults, grown adults that have lived 30 to 50 years on this planet would have had a million questions to avoid making the fucking call?
Wait, how are you saying that? Adults?
Just making the call, right?
Adults,
same thing. Just make the call. Hey, I want to buy your products. You figure the rest out. What do I do if they say, what do I do if they ask if I sell on Amazon? You tell them. What do I do if they have a high minimum order quantity? You ask if they can go lower for the first one, right? What do I do if they charge shipping? You see if they can do free shipping. You figure it out as you go.
Can you sell on something with Amazon on it? Where to go? You make the price a few cents cheaper. Yeah, but it depends on the history, right? If the listing shows the history of Amazon sharing those sales, then it's game on. Obviously, they can or have every capability to undercut you like that. So just look at the buy box history. If Amazon's on 100% of the time, it's not likely that you're going to get many sales. However, if Amazon is on 100% of the time and you still see those offers going up and down, people are clearly selling out of stock. So look at kind of those two indicators when it's coming to Amazon. But ultimately, especially if you're just getting going with this, there's a lot lower hanging fruit than trying to compete with Amazon.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's weird how they do it. Like certain listings, they'll hold the buy box on the whole time. Certain listings, they'll share the buy box all the time. Right? You basically just need to get good at looking at Keepa charts and seeing if you're looking at a Keepa chart and you're seeing that the offer count is like really stable, right? Just straight across, and Amazon's holding the buy box the whole time, then it's probably the kind of thing where they're taking the whole buy box. But if Amazon's on it, but the offer count's going like this, then you know that other people are getting sales.
Well said.
Once I bought a product in bulk, how do I send to Amazon for them to hold and package and deliver? You go on YouTube and search how to send shipment to Amazon FBA, and you watch 30 minutes of YouTube tutorials, and then you know exactly how to do it. Are there any certain brands that Amazon holds buy box more than others? That doesn't really matter because you're going to be looking at the Keepa chart anyway if you're going to sell something, right? So not off the top of my head. Can I borrow a small amount? Yes. Do you work one-on-one with beginners for a cost? Yeah, man. Shoot me a DM. Shoot both of us a DM.
Any way to get around pending orders? No, that's just how Amazon works.
Yeah, unfortunately. But no-go thoughts? Keep submitting. What sort of profit margin should we expect to start selling clothing, apparel on FBA? Yeah, man. So it depends on what the listings are selling at compared to what you buy. But you should aim for between 10 and 20. Do you do bundles? Not really. I have done some. They are great to sell though. Yeah, Goliath, shoot me a DM. Just flip your miles. I'll hit you back. Cool. So you guys are crushing it with the questions tonight. We really appreciate that. We're gonna get going with some more Buy Box Bandits podcast episodes soon too. So if you're not familiar with Buy Box Bandits, it's on all platforms. It's got like 100 episodes. Or 100.
Like 150.
Yeah, I think we're at 160. Yeah, 158 here. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, it's a good time. What should ROI percent for product be? Yeah, around 30%. Explain A to A. Jules, you don't need to worry about doing A to A right now, Jules, but it's basically buying on Amazon, selling on Amazon. There's a bunch of rules with it. It's honestly a lot harder too. So just worry about nice flips.
Is there any category on Amazon you would avoid selling in at all costs? Not necessarily. It's just depending on the product. Every Amazon, neither of us have been. If you follow the rules, you'll be all set. That's the bottom line. Yeah,
if other people are selling it, so can you. Goals for 2024. Mainly private, but like write a Twitter thread every day. You know, that's pretty important. I'd love to hit 100,000 subscribers, 100,000 followers on Twitter. And luckily, I know what I need to do to get those too. So I just gotta show up every day and get after it. And luckily, if we bring enough value to you guys, right? You guys show love back, right? So as long as we're doing what we need to be doing, you guys get what you got, we get what we want. Life's good.
Everyone's happy. What should you look for in a keep a chart if you're looking to sell a specific variations? Yeah, just movement, right? People going in and out of stock, offer count going up, offer count going down, that buy box rotating. All those things that signify simply that things are happening, right? What we're trying to avoid are buying into the variations that simply aren't moving, right? That buy or that sell once every couple of weeks or whatever, right? So look for the graphs that are oscillating pretty consistently. Look for the obviously the variations that are consistent, that aren't spiking in offer counts, right? Just general stability across all aspects of the product, offer count, buy box, sales rank, and you should be good to go.
Cool, sweet. At what point is transitioning from FBM to FBA recommended? So, I mean, ideally, if you're in a rhythm, don't break it, right? But it's typically going to be when FBM listings start to slow down, which is going to be the next couple of weeks here. Cool, too. Okay, so I got to head out. I had to head out, honestly, for tonight, right? I got an 8 o'clock call that I want to get prepared for a little bit. But appreciate you guys in for the quick stream tonight. And such, we'll be back on. I should hopefully get in a full hour with you guys tomorrow. But if you're on square one, right? Go on YouTube and search Flips for Miles free course, right? It's 80 minutes long. It's going to walk through what all the terms mean, how to get ungated, how to analyze procs, how to use seller amp, how to use Keepa, right? How to get started with the stuff, how to find procs, what winning procs look like, right? Go check out Garrett's stuff as well. Go in the description and do all the auto ungates as well. It's a list of 100 plus brands you can get ungated in, right? From the get-go. Still worth to be a new seller in 2024. Amazon's only growing, of course. Cool. All right, have a good one, everyone. Description's got a bunch of good info, too, if you want further resources. We love you guys. See you tomorrow.